Hey guys, it's Galaxy and welcome to the camera comparison between the latest Samsung Galaxy S22 and good old Samsung Galaxy S10. Without further ado, let's get straight into the comparison. So starting with the first picture of this log, we can already notice the difference in the HDR. The Samsung Galaxy S22 provides a little bit more details when it comes to the sun, but also a bit more details in the shadows, looking at the lower portion of the picture. The S10, despite being solid, is a little bit darker. In the next picture we can notice the HDR difference once again. I can notice more shades of yellow in the sun from the Galaxy S22, which I honestly prefer. But S10 is extremely close, don't get me wrong. Pretty much the only difference here is, like I said, that difference in the sun. And we are in the ultra wide angle mode now. I don't see much of a difference when it comes to the view, distortions and etc. Going into the wide angle mode, the colors are a little bit different. Here I honestly prefer the Galaxy S10. The S22 is just a little bit too bluish in this one for me. In the next picture, notice both are really close. It shows you how solid the Galaxy S10's camera is despite its age. In this picture we can notice that more intense HDR coming from the S22 because the picture is much brighter, but it is a matter of taste. I don't see anything wrong with choosing the S10's picture if some of you would do that. In the wide angle mode, however, I would argue the S22's picture is a bit more pleasing. That sun look, guys, it is really nice. Notice that different shades of yellow, I really like this. But the Galaxy S10 is no slouch either. Notice apart from that they are extremely close. Maybe even the colors of the grass are more realistic and more accurate on the S10. And just one more picture to clarify the difference. In the ultra wide angle mode, maybe I would prefer to see something in the middle here. The S10 is a bit too greenish, the S22 is a bit too reddish. In the wide angle mode, once again we have the difference in the look of the sun. This is where the S22 wins clearly for me. And one more, here the difference is far from significant, but in the standard wide angle mode the S22 is just amazing when it comes to the look of the sky. Just look for yourself. The S10 is not bad by any means, but the sky area, this is where the Galaxy S22 wins for me. Okay, so moving to the telephoto module comparison, zooming in, we have 3 times optical zoom on the Galaxy S22 and 2 times optical zoom on the S10. I honestly didn't notice much of a difference in terms of level of detail, though we must take into account that extra zoom, 3 times zoom compared to the 2 times zoom coming from the new model. We can also do hybrid 3 times zoom on the Galaxy S10, but it won't be the same. And let's check out the level of detail now. Let's crop in this picture of the statue. Honestly, both are extremely good. I don't see much of a difference. The level of detail is about the same for me. And the next picture, zooming in, you can notice more sharpening coming from the S10. I personally like that look. I think they got this a little bit worse in the later generations, as you see in this example, but perhaps I'm over-exaggerating this difference. Because, for example, in this one, they both perform very closely, and I can't really say the S10 provides with more detail. But also there's one thing to mention here, that the S10 has variable aperture, which the S22 doesn't have. So that's why sometimes there will be more noise coming from the S10. The difference is that Samsung Galaxy S10 uses f2.4. For the daytime pictures, and for the low light picture it uses much lower aperture. And here, zooming in, I can see a bit more details, a bit more distinctive difference in those hairs of this horse. For me, the S10 is, like I said, I like that additional sharpening. I think at some point they managed to get this just right, and later on it is sort of a mixed bag. Sometimes the picture is sharp, sometimes it's a little bit more mild. I don't know. I think they should have left this alone. And now let's check out the video quality. Okay, let's pause for a moment and notice the huge difference in the dynamic range in favor of the Galaxy S22. This is where the new phone is really much better. The dynamic range is, like I said, better, which you can't fully notice here because of such weather conditions as you see. But okay, let's check out other things. I'm walking here and the stabilization looks fairly similar now. And I'm here running. You can see the Galaxy S22 is much more stable, you don't get that vibrations and etc. Super stable. The autofocus works just fine on both, very comparable. Both are really comparable in terms of the level of detail, so the major difference is the dynamic range, like I said. And now let's check out the ultra-wide-angle mode. Maybe it is a bit unfortunate as well, because few generations passed and not really much of an improvement in terms of video quality per se. But the stabilization, as you can see, is quite better on the S22, even in the ultra-wide-angle mode. In terms of the low light performance, here notice maybe the noise reduction algorithms are a bit better on the S22. There are a bit less of noise artifacts. As for the sharpness, maybe the Galaxy S10 is a little bit more pleasing here, I would say. A bit more sharpness coming from the S10 in the crop. I like that personally. And here I can notice a bit more colors and a bit brighter picture from the S22, but I wouldn't say it's a game changer. Okay, here you can notice that noise reduction to be much more effective on the S22, but you would need to get in such extreme conditions where it's really dark like it was here to really experience that. And now let's check out the night mode finally. Okay, so let's turn it on both, and both perform really great. I don't see much of a difference for now, maybe a bit more sharpness, yes, a bit more sharpness in the S22, but let's see as it will get darker. Here I can spot a bit more sharpness in the S22 and a bit more contrast colors. I think the S22 is a bit better. And here the S22 is definitely better. The colors are better, the whole picture is just quite striking difference. The S10 is just too flat, but let's move to the next picture. Yes, so night mode is definitely the thing that Samsung improved in those years. There is no argue with that. And now let's briefly look at the video quality in the extreme low light conditions. Obviously both are not perfect, and something like iPhone 13, which I done comparison with that phone previously, managed to get better in these conditions, but as for the comparison between the two, the S22 is better. It has perhaps more aggressive noise reduction, but in the end I think it's better. In the ultra-wide-angle mode, both are pretty terrible at this. So in the end, I think the Samsung Galaxy S10 again proves its worth in terms of the camera performance. I'm especially surprised by the lack of any improvements in sharpness and level of detail from the newer generation. Admittedly, the S22 has that 3x optical zoom, a bit better video quality, and in daytime pictures, HDR, despite being similar on both, looks a tad more fancy in the S22. but it mostly comes down to the difference in the sun area. Apart from that, we also have to notice upgrade in night mode. It is probably the biggest improvement compared to the old generation. But you'll be the judge here. Let me know in the comments which camera is best bang for buck. Remember, the S10 is not only older but much cheaper. Thank you very much for watching and stay tuned for the future camera comparison between Samsung Galaxy S22 and Redmi Note 11 Pro. See you in the next one. Peace.